All right, well, let's get started. Thank you all for making it out. I know I only gave a couple days notice, but appreciate everybody coming out today. My name is Councilor Neubieser. I'm the Ward 1 City Councilor, and today I'm incredibly excited to announce my intent to seek the position of City Council President this year. If given the chance to serve in this role, I'd be laser focused on decreasing the partisanship and personal attacks and increasing the collaboration on council and delivering results for the residents of Burlington. So here's how we're going to do that together. First, we need fair public notice of all resolutions that come before the council. No significant resolution should appear on a council agenda prior to the public, each council caucus, the media, and our neighborhood planning assemblies having adequate time to digest that resolution and engage productively with it. Dropping significant or controversial resolutions on a meeting agenda the Thursday prior to a council meeting as a partisan tactic has clearly bred distrust among colleagues and produced worse policy outcomes and worse policy discussions for residents. Second, we need clear and consistent and predictable public comment periods. Public comment should start at the same time every council meeting unless extraordinary circumstances prevent us from doing so. Inconsistent times for public comment has decreased rather than increased public participation. Third, we must increase bipartisanship through our council committee structure. We see bipartisan resolutions with thoughtful compromise emerge out of council committees all the time, so we should move forward with making that normal practice. Additionally, some committee assignments are more intensive or hold more power than others. The ordinance, the charter change and ordinance committees should be 4-member committees made up of 2 members from each caucus. This approach would force bipartisan collaboration and compromise. Fourth, we must tone down the personal attacks and increase collaboration on the council. The council president must rigorously manage public comment and the council discussion to stop personal attacks, including overtly bigoted statements of any kind, while also protecting free speech and the ability of the public and city councilors to participate in the democratic process. The position of council president should be collaborative, nonpartisan, and objective. This includes encouraging all members to listen to and work with each other, regardless of party affiliation, through steps such as information sharing, council agenda preparation, speaking time allocation, and more. Finally, we need greater respect for city staff on the council. Agenda items requiring city staff to attend council meetings after their normal working hours should be prioritized to ensure staff get home to their families at a reasonable hour. We should be avoiding, if at all possible and when at all possible, city staff sitting in City Hall until late into the night during a council meeting. I'll conclude my remarks by sharing why I feel now in particular is an important time for me to be seeking this position. The reality is the vast majority of Burlingtonians cannot afford to buy a home. The median sale price of a home right now in Burlington is over $500,000. 60% of our residents rent, and of that 60%, 31% pay more than half of their income on rent, not to mention facing a rental market with a 1.5% vacancy rate. Algae blooms in Lake Champlain are worsening, harming both recreation and tourism in town. Smoke from wildfires increasingly affects our ability to breathe clean air, and more unpredictable weather and extreme flooding make it harder to grow produce in the Intervale. We are seeing a federal government being run by a dangerous Trump administration. They have frozen funds we were promised. They are degrading our civil liberties and freedoms. And they are allowing corruption to run rampant, creating a government of, by, and for the billionaire class. We have a governor that will once again force dozens of Vermonters out of their housing and force them to sleep in tents with no plan after a year, still no plan. A governor who's failed to deliver for state employees, leading to incredibly high turnover rates and hundreds of vacant positions in state government. A governor who is actively trying to roll back progress our state has made on addressing the existential threat of climate change. In the midst of all these challenges, the City Council must be laser focused on addressing those issues collaboratively. But too often, we spend too much of our time on personal attacks and partisanship. It's time for a new generation of council leadership focused on increasing collaboration and delivering results for the residents of Burlington. I look forward to working with every member of the council from every political party to decrease partisanship and personal attacks and increase the collaboration and deliver results for the residents of Burlington. So that concludes my remarks, and with that, I will open it up to questions if folks have any.
So this is the one you probably saw coming. I know you talked about decreasing partisanship, increasing collaboration, but it is a 7-5 split in favor of Democrats. You'll need to get 2 on your side. How do you do that?
Well, I'm not going to comment on personal conversations or private conversations I'm having with other counselors from now until Reorganization Day when we take this vote. I have already started and will continue outreach to every counselor seeking their support for this position.
So you're, just to clarify, you're working now to try and get additional votes from across the aisle?
Yeah, I've reached out to every member, letting them know that I have made this decision to run and am continuing conversations with them.
Just for clarity, do you know if current Council President Ben Travers is seeking the presidency again too?
I'm going to focus my comments on some of the reasons that I'm running and allow Ben to speak to his plans.
Sure. All right. Well, I'll ask though, out of everything you mentioned in particular in your campaign here, we'll say, is there anywhere just yet in particular where you feel current President Travers maybe falling short of some of these goals in particular you would like to see just better from a council president?
Yeah, I'm not going to be speaking to the current council president's record today.
So given that there is such a seemingly from the outside deep partisan divide on the council, if you were to be elected council president, how would you work to resolve that or change that?
Yeah, a number of ways I just outlined in my comments. Another piece of this is finding ways that we can see the humanity in each other as colleagues. We don't have many opportunities right now as a council to do that outside of meeting each other on the floor. And so that would be a focus of mine as well.
So should you win, how much of a benefit to the progressives do you think that would be to have a progressive council president as well as mayor, obviously, among the remaining standing?
Truly, I'm not worried about how this will benefit one political party or another. I think I'm the right person for the job and well positioned within the council to serve in this role and get us away from worrying about which caucus is benefiting from a particular move.
Do you already have committed support from your fellow progressives?
I don't want to speak prematurely to any ongoing conversations with folks.
Clarification about one of the steps that you've mentioned about committee. Are you suggesting that all resolutions originate in committee first and not be introduced on the floor? Talk more about that.
Yeah, as I said a little bit before, we've seen multiple times when thoughtful compromise and consensus has come about through, from the ordinance committee, from other committees on the council. When you're talking about ordinance and charter, those two committees are sort of mechanical committees, for lack of a better term, when we're developing policy. And so particularly charter, if we're talking about any changes to our city's, constitution in essence, those decisions should be consensus decisions, and they should be bringing both caucuses in together. We shouldn't be worrying about and participating in gamesmanship in that way. And so any sort of resolution of significance, obviously there's always exceptions, and the business of city government has to move forward. But we should be striving to having these conversations early, often, and transparently, and not dropping resolutions on the floor without any process.
So how long has this been a goal of yours, or have you had this idea in mind to run for city council president?
Well, I decided Monday, a few minutes before I invited you all here, and then I called through all my fellow councilors over the last 48 hours. Any other questions or clarifications I can provide? Going once, going twice. All right, well, short and sweet. That's all we got. Thank you all for coming out.